Hey everyone, so this is a bit of a different video than I'd normally post on this channel. Usually we'd post stuff like this onto the podcast channel that I do with Johnny B. Nerdy, but I feel very strongly for this topic and I feel like it needs its own video. Granted, we still are going to talk about this onto the podcast channel, but that's besides the point. Today we are talking about MatPat's losing the battle video. This video touched me for many different reasons and I just feel the need to talk about it. If you haven't seen the video already, essentially MatPat had a friend who had just recently killed himself.
It became clear that Ronnie liked editing more than writing or hosting, and since, like I mentioned, I sucked at editing, he just focused most of his time on editing for game theory. We called it the editing dungeon. His first episode was the cost of Minecraft Diamond Armor. And I remember sitting there watching the first draft of that episode, and finally, for the first time, seeing game theory in the way that I had always envisioned it looking. His experience and skill with animation and illustration was able to accomplish things that in 2 years of working on the series, I had never been able to do. But finally, game theory was looking the way that I had always envisioned it looking. It was doing things that I had wanted to do and just didn't have the skill to execute on. And for the next 5 years, Ronnie was our go-to editor, a silent hand behind a huge number of the videos that you've seen on this channel, on Film Theory, and all the other theorist channels. And that's why it shatters my heart to tell you that on July 4th, Ronnie was found dead, a victim of suicide. We found out 2 days later. We had been communicating about a project that he was editing on. He went silent for a couple days, and so we went to his apartment to check up on him, only to be met with a coroner's notice.
Now, this touches me because I've had multiple friends that have suffered with depression and suicidal thoughts in the past. But speaking for me personally, I've never had depression, I've never been suicidal, but I know what it can do to people. Because I've been surrounded by people in the past who've dealt with things like this. There was an incident last summer where I almost had a friend commit suicide. Now, I'm not going to say the name of this person, I'm going to leave it completely anonymous. I did get permission from this person to talk about his story. But essentially one day is summer break, his girlfriend at the time calls me up and says, "Hey, do you know where this person is?" And she seemed very concerned and I started to get worried because I didn't know where this person was and apparently he wasn't at home. Later that night we found him, we discovered he ran away to a park alone. And that's when I discovered that this person had depression. And I never knew anything about this. I would have never suspected that this person would ever have depression. And that's how hard it is to see. You can't just go ahead and look at someone and say, that person has depression. 100% of the time, you can't even tell. Which is why this is an important topic to discuss. This friend of mine was put into counseling. Thankfully, it got around to some of his friends. We need to be a society where we're more compassionate. Nowadays, we're just so easy to hate each other. And it's so hard to tell even if anybody has depression. It's a hard thing to look at and judge, which is why we as a society need to be more open. We need to be more compassionate. And we need to listen to those who are hurting. Again, I haven't had any personal friends that have committed suicide, but I have seen friends tell me that they've had friends that killed themselves. And it's not an easy thing to deal with, I can say that. Because there's been so many friends that I've had to be there for. So many friends that I've talked to that have told me that they are going through things. And that I tried to be there for them. That I tried to help them get through it. Suicidal thoughts and depression is just such a common problem in this world these days. Which is why if you are feeling depressed, suicidal, you need to talk to someone. Talk to a friend, a family member, an adult, a teacher, bus driver. There are even numbers that you can call anonymously if you don't want to talk to anyone you know. Please talk to someone. Keep your conversations open because by doing that you could possibly save lives. As for what happened to MatPat, I've watched some of his videos in the past, but I haven't been a huge fan of his. That still doesn't change the fact that this entire situation is really sad. We can make a change if we just stay open with each other. If we keep conversations open, if we live in a society that's compassionate towards each other. In this world, we're just so easy to judge each other. And that's not just everyone, that's me too. We all as a society need to work to be better, to help others that are going through things like this. Did you know that 1 in 6 high school kids seriously think about suicide? That's why we need to talk to each other. If you think someone is suicidal or has depression, talk to them about it. You might be able to help them through it. And if there is someone that you know that is going through things, just do me a favor and be there for them. Talk to them, listen to them. You don't even have to give advice. Sometimes for a person, all it takes is just getting that off their chest. Be there for someone. This is a very hard topic to talk about. And again, guys, just keep conversations open. That's all I have to say. There's a lot more that I probably should be talking about, but I'm not the best person to give advice on this sort of stuff because me personally, I've never been depressed or suicidal, though I may know people that have. I don't personally exactly know what that's like. Videos are going to continue on this channel. I just wanted to sort of give my word on this. That's all I have to say. That's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Please take the advice that I give. Share this video around if you can. If you want to, you could leave your own personal stories in the comments below. People in the comments talk to each other. That's all I have to say.